Welcome back, Keepers of the Flame. So I'm going to go over a quick, sort of, something that's kind of been in a theme coming up in my readings. And I just want to go over that with some people. So there's the full moon eclipse in Taurus is bringing the energies of clearing away karma and clearing away what no longer serves. It's giving us a pause moment to really, all of a sudden, that one pinnacle of a moment in between, like kind of on the infinity symbol, that meeting point. It's giving us a break there, and it's going to come through heavily because it is also trine to Saturn in its home place of Aquarius. So it's going to come through with deep clarity. And ever since the Scorpio eclipse, partial eclipse in a new moon, those energies are bringing up what needs to fall away. So in the readings, I'm starting to see a theme of people finding what makes them tick, finding their purpose, finding their passion, finding what brings them joy. Whether that be people, places, things, careers, whatever it is for you, it's now coming to more of the front burner of your mental stove. So what seems to be a common theme that's happening is that there's things that need to fall to the wayside, maybe not permanently, but for the time being. So being that I've gone through that myself, I just wanted to speak on that because it can be really difficult energy to deal with by yourself, because that's kind of what I'm getting is that even though there might be people around you, I didn't get any fully support from those surrounding energies in a lot of those readings. So walking through this, understanding what it means to be a sovereign human being. And what does it mean to be sovereign? It means to hold your own best interests at heart, regardless of other outside forces telling you that that's not in your best interest, and that you don't know what's best for you, and that you can't decide how to live your life. That's not your job. So, right, that sounds ludicrous, doesn't it? Sounds absolutely freaking bonkers. Just, do you realize that's what the majority of the people on the planet do? That's what the majority of us do. We just let the familial trauma come in and be like, nope. And then we let the generational trauma come in. Nope. Then we let the religious trauma come in. Nope. So while we're constantly being inundated into these teeny tiny little boxes, life becomes very restrictive and very difficult. And it doesn't mean that there's no place for growth there, because that's where typically most people do grow, is through their trauma. That frictional force, albeit not pleasant. The coming to the understanding that you are a sovereign person with your own needs, wants, opinions, beliefs or not beliefs, or modality of living in an ecosystem that you were designed to be part of. Okay, we're not designed to be completely separated from each other. But what does that mean, right? What does separation mean? I think we get this so confused. So separation is, it's not just a parting of the Red Seas. It's the cross, right? Into 4 quadrants. But there's still the hole there, right? There's the circle around the cross. This is ancient symbology, by the way. So when we get separated, we're being classified into whatever it is. And now that might be true that we have niches, that we have places to be, functions and purposes to serve here on the planet, and that's natural. We are an ecosystem and we have different functionalities to fulfill in society as a whole. So if we're serving society, we're serving the purpose, the function, right? And that comes in so many different facets of life. It's ridiculous. We have people that help us fix us cars. We have people who ring us up at the grocery store. We have people who deliver our mail. We have people who help us through emotional issues. We have people that guide us, in one direction or the other. When it comes to purchasing a new car, purchasing anything, like we get on the internet, clickety clackety, what's the best, who's the best, where's the best, da 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 da, right? We have people that are serving those purposes, and we take them for granted, and we separate them out into these weird categories. Like, let's think about this for a second. If we wanted to go out to, say, a very public place, like a mall or something, right? That's very normy of you. Oh, boy. Okay, so when we go out to this public place, right, what if we have to use the toilet? What if we're a total slob and, like, we spill our pumpkin latte, on the ground, and then, like, we just keep walking? Wouldn't the whole place be like a complete and utter disaster and disgusting and nasty, and nobody want to live there or even go there because there's just, do you get what I mean? So there's janitors that come along and clean that up. But we classify them as less than. What the heck? Like, they're kind of the reason you're staying healthy right now. You have a clean, safe environment to explore different brands. I don't know. Not my good. Anyway, so my point being is we have this weird construct that's kind of wonky and a little bit backwards as far as, like, the people that are being productive members of society, and then we don't understand how to be grateful for. We just look down on them like, oh, you poor blah, 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 blah. You got to do this for a living. Maybe it's their purpose to keep things clean and keep people safe and healthy. Like, if that's not a good purpose, I can't figure out what is. So we need to start deconstructing these little nodules we have of how we're supposed to see things, how we're supposed to experience the world. Because when we're being called to a life purpose, and then we sit down at a table with our so-called loved ones, and we pitch this to them, because that's what we have to do, right? Like, oh, I'm going to go venture off and do this crazy thing that, even if it is societally acceptable, some people... Some people that might be part of our family unit don't want to see us succeed. They don't think it can be done because they couldn't do it. They didn't do it. They don't know anybody who did it. Do you see how that's not helpful? Do you see how that's in a very small container of thought processes that are not going to help us move into this new paradigm? So my best advice to you is to follow this right here. This is going to sound really narky McNarkerton. So first I'm going to put this out there. The people who are going to call me a narky narc for this, the difference between poison and medicine is the dosage. That's it. That's all. Is the dosage. So everything in moderation, okay? Everything in moderation. So, and most of the time when I'm doing mirror work, I look nothing like this. Not even close. you see my Libra reading? Holy but Jesus. Okay, so anyway, you get in the mirror, right? And you talk to this right here. This is the window to your soul. So you talk to it. You say, hey, this is really bothering you, or me, us, whatever the hell you want to call it. And I'm sure that the white coats would classify me with something for that. Bite me. Okay? But this is what's working for me. So I'm just bringing it to you because the overall collective of the readings that I did last night, you're feeling like a lonely energy. And I'm like, you're not alone. You're not. You think you are. You've been conned into believing you are. And all that other generational, familial, religious, societal trauma pushing you downwards. So this is how you let go of that. For some people, this doesn't work for everybody. And some of you might need to go see a therapist. Some of you might need a life coach. Some of you might, I don't know, need a spiritual retreat. Whatever it is for you that works for you. But first, you've got to get real with yourself. So look yourself in the face and be like, okay, this is bothering us. Why is it bothering us? How do we need to proceed with this? Then you listen to that. And whatever it says, you follow that. It's not, I'm so sick of people being like, that's delusional. That's not right. Okay. So you got to the place where you are right now in your life because you abandoned yourself. You didn't listen to spirit when it said, don't let these people tell you how to live your life, because that's not what you're here to do. You're not here to be born, get a number, learn how to not learn, and then pay houses worth of debt to further instruct your brain on how not to learn new things. So this is just one person's opinion. This is just my humble opinion. If you don't like it, I'm not sorry. I'm not. You're entitled to your perspective, but from my little birdie's view, this is how it's working or not working. That's not what we're here for, is to be pushed down by everybody else around us to the point of where we can't even conceive that we're even living, right? So we'd rather freaking vet ourselves off the planet. And if you hadn't noticed, those numbers are astronomical right now. So for the sake of people not doing that to themselves, here I am. And I don't think, even if it's one person I touch on, I will spend whatever. So, but it's the idea that you don't have a right to decide what is right for you in your life. Now, I'm not saying you need to vet all these people out of your life and blah, 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 blah. You don't need to go off on these people. Don't waste time. Don't waste energy. What you do need to do is get right with yourself. So if you feel the need that you need to say something to these people, get it right first. Because they are not going to come from a place of understanding. If you are so far outside of that box where you are thinking, even conceiving of the thought that you can start something, a project, a business, a venture, whatever it is, okay? If you want to start crocheting little hats and mittens for the squirrels for over the winter, I don't care. Whatever it is. Don't abandon it if it's calling to you, okay? Don't abandon it. Keep it. But there's certain ways to get there that are a little bit more productive than, say, maybe what I did. Because as a 12th house Scorpio stellium, I don't mind my alone time. And you get told by everybody, you're not supposed to do that. You can't do that. You need to be around people. Okay. Now calm down. Okay. What makes me happy is different than what makes the next person happy. So what I'm going to tell you to do is get with spirit and let it instruct you on how you want to move forward. So if you want to sit down like a brave soul at that holiday meal and talk about what you want to do, you can do that. Now, I highly advise that you not, if you have not emotionally and mentally distanced yourself in a clean and clear barriered way. because those little voices that have always been in the back of your skull since the day you were born are going to be very domineering because they've already been allowed in, right? You can't help it. They were there from childhood. They'll be there for a hot minute, and you need to work on getting those out. So use discretion when voicing what you want to do and how you want to move forward with your life until you have everything set in concrete. For example, no one I personally know knows I'm doing this. That's Scorpio though. Like, good luck. It's just, but keep it safe. Keep it safe until you have things set up in a way that is going to ensure that nothing is going to disturb it. Right? I'm going to let that settle for a second. Keep it safe and keep... One ring to rule them all. Just keep it safe. And then when it's time, toss that fucker in the fire's mortar. I don't care. Bye, kids. Okay, so when we have this trauma, right, we can deal with it in the physical, right? We can go to like a communication guru's site and just be like, what words do I need to use to conjure this energy off me? And we can do that, right? What we need to understand is to sit with that emotion and sit with that understanding that this generational, familiar, religious, societal trauma does not need to keep doing that to us. And you will get several well-meaning people that will continue on that trauma train because that's what they know. That's what they're operating off. That's their operating system because they don't know any better. I cannot express that enough, is that the unknowingness that has these people by the freaking death grip, and they refuse to... Some of the smartest people I've seen on freaking internet, read books, just are stuck in that, okay, but it's trauma, and it's always trauma. It's trauma. We gotta be trauma. It's all trauma. Okay, no. Come on. Get yourself out of that mindset, out of that consistent pattern. And that's coming up here big time with the eclipse in Taurus. Full moon. It's going to be values. You're going to need to assess your values and what you hold dear. And then you're going to need to hold them dear. It's trine Saturn in its home base of Aquarius. So it's going to be that discipline, the constructs of societal. Okay? And people look at that and I want my freedom. I want to roam free and do whatever I want. Right, but we're asking you to... Saturn's just asking us to put this in a way that is impenetrable. So get with your values. Now, this season of eclipses is going to be over with this one for the next 6 months. So you have some time to do this. You don't need to do this all by tomorrow night. What you do probably need to do is write down some things you want to let go and then burn them. And she's into magic and witchcraft. Yes, but when these see those spells go up in flames, things change in here. So people think, oh, it's spiritual, woo-woo. No, guys. No. Everything is supposed to be intermingled, okay? This is a pattern wavelength. This isn't like a sectional, like, okay, well, she's all in her head and not grounded. No, when we write those things down in a physical manner on a piece of paper, do not reread them and then burn them, it is signaling to our brain that no longer holds power. and that the universe is taking it via the smoke rising. So just so you understand how that works in the physical. Because if this sees it, it generates much faster and much quicker. And you don't have to do much work. And then you don't be surprised if you're like, you know what, that thing over there that's in my space that reminds me of that, bye. Get it out. Get it out. Donate it. Throw it away. Do what you need to do with it. Purge that. And so a lot of times when we're searching for things, values, whatever it is, we need to get things out of our way of vision. So when people say move towards what you want, a lot of times it's unbinding yourself from what you're already tied to. It's a letting go and releasing of those old thought patterns, those old belief systems, those old ways of being in the world. Okay, this isn't just a spiritual thing. This is very real. And it can be overwhelming and painful. But I can tell you from personal experience, on the other side, there's no words. There is no words. I'm trying. I'm getting emotionally overwhelmed. I apologize. So when we accept the fact that the universe is going to be acting in our own best interests, and we ride those waves with grace and gratitude, rather than struggling and fighting and screaming and torturing ourselves, trying to hold on what is not meant to be, what is not meant for us, we just release. We let go. We let go. I had a dream that I was on a riverbank, and it was a raging river. It was just raging. I mean, it was terrifyingly loud. I could barely hear. And I was clinging to these branches and these reeds for dear life because I was terrified. And then this calming sensation came over me, and it was warm. The river was frigid cold. But this warm sensation came over me, and I just let go. I released. And I thought, okay, well, I guess I'll just float down the river and see if I drown. But I didn't drown. I made it to the end. I made it safely to the shore, and it was lovely. So it can be intimidating, the unknown, the great unknown. But I have this saying, is the unknown is where the magic happens. Because when you don't know what you're doing, you don't know what you're discovering, you tend to be a little more cautious. You tend to be a little more vigilant, and you tend to start picking up things that are really resonating with you. When you are in the, people are like, the dark is bad. No, the dark is not bad, because if you knew all the crap that was already in the light, that we know it exists on a physical level as human beings, there's a good song, Even the Darkness Has Arms. And it does. And it's beautiful. Because once you know some stuff, you come to terms with that exists in the light. It's happening. It's not something great unknown. It's not some mystery. The dark holds more gifts than you can possibly imagine. And it's your light that you bring to the darkness that shines your path. So that's where the magic happens, right? When you do that hermit thing, right? And you take that torch into the big black abyss, and you're like, what are we doing? Where are we going? How are we proceeding? The amount of sensory input that you can develop on a spiritual level by just sitting with the dark, the unknown, is astronomical. I can't even. I just did that. So when we can sit with that, right, we can understand how to process things on a healthy way without fear, with taking love into the situation, with understanding that these obstacles we're coming up against, these energies that are being pushed on us from family, communities, religions, society, whatever it is being pushed down on us, they're coming from a place of fear and unknowing what they are supposed to be experiencing on the planet. So when we can come from that knowledge that they just do not, and they might be trying, they might be freaking setting their life on a path of like figuring stuff out and trying to help people through this mess themselves and still have no clue. And that's okay. That is okay. They are reaching people that also are just completely terrified of the place that they're in right now, not understanding that they have personal power and personal sovereignty. And that is in and of itself a benefit. But for when you come to a certain level of understanding that when we keep ourselves traumatized in this trauma mode, we're going to stay stagnant in a place of fear, a place of hatred, a place of loathing, a place of judgment, and place of perpetual death. And when you get tapped on the shoulder by spirit repeatedly, and it keeps telling you this way, just come on. You don't have to like take leaps and bounds, just maybe a little baby step in this other direction, and you ignore it, you're going to see the health repercussions for that. You're going to understand how that plays out in your body when you ignore spirit, psyche, mind. Let that one sit for a second. So get with that first before you decide to move forward with anything, okay? If you need to get your sickle out and start cutting, do it. But if you need to keep ties with certain people that you hold dear in your family, and that means you have to kind of placate or put up with or whatever have you in an environment that makes you very, very uncomfortable and puts you through the trauma, if you can deal with it in a graceful manner, so that way, there was a great lady on Women of Impact that set up like how to speak to people by using boundaries. I'll see if I can look that up and put it below. That video was fantastic. And she's got a book out too, obviously. But the methodology that she used was freaking brilliant. I mean, the words, they weren't harmful, but they were definitely like, nope, not today or any other day. It was brilliant. I loved it. Okay, I'll try to find, and I'll put it in the link below. Oh, I should have gotten a pen and paper so I could remind myself. Shit. Maybe, okay, if I forget, I'll put it in the comments. Okay, so what else? So, again, finding the values and holding those sovereign and holding those sacred and protecting them, right? Protecting what means what you value, and that's what this eclipse moon is all about, is the value that you hold dear. Now, people say, value means, material goods. No, value means like what in your life brings you to a place of joy and happiness. That's what needs to be valued. And we've been taught that we're supposed to value something that brings us trauma, simply because it's of a family unit, or because it's part of a regale, or because it's part of a societal norm. But we have that power, right? We can say, you know what? This isn't for me. I don't have to stay here. I don't have to tolerate whatever this is you're doing. I don't have to. I can be my own sovereign person and spread the love and light where I need to. And if that means outside of your presence, if I need to send you love and light from a distance, I can do that. I'll do that all day long. I will send you love and light from the furthest reaches of the galaxy, kids. But if you, violate my boundaries, you're going to need to be kept further and further and further and further and further away. That's just how it's supposed to go. Okay? We didn't come here to be doormats. We didn't come here to brutalize each other into an awakening. That's not how it has to happen. It's so ass backwards, you guys. Like, let me beat you until you wake up. Okay. Right? Sorry. Spirit guide. So I want to encourage you to not follow me, not follow anybody as far as spirit goes. I want you to get with spirit and then let that guide you through your own journey of processing this situation that you have to go through, because the readings I did, you have so much value in front of you, and you know it. You know there's the purpose, there's the people, there's the places, there's the situations that you now are needing and wanting to embrace. But there's obstacles there that don't need to be there, and they can be handled however they need to be handled. And I will say that, as optimistic as I'm trying to be right now, the awakening process can be a very lonely one. And that's for good reason, because if you had to be out in society and had to be listening to what everybody else was saying, you wouldn't know how to listen to what's inside of you. You wouldn't know how to interpret those messages, because everything else would be clouding your judgment. So when it comes to understanding how your inner thing works, your inner energy, your inner, whatever you want to call it, source, divine, God, goddess, yin yang, whatever it is that you want to call it, that's totally up to you. But until you understand how you compare bond with that, all right, this is the card I drew. Until you understand how you compare bond with yourself, you're going to be a lost little dove. So pair bond inside first. Make your partner, your life partner, needs to be your spirit, yourself first. Otherwise, whoever comes along is just going to take the reins. They're just going to take the reins and be like, okay, well, since you aren't holding any personal sovereignty or responsibility, I guess I have to take it all. Not a way to live. Nope, not moving forward. Not with these energies. Psh, bye, Felicia. I hope this helps. I hope this brings you to a place of understanding that no guru is going to do this for you. You have to do it for yourself. Now you can reach out for different ideas and concepts and whatever else that help you move through these energies. By all means, use a plethora of them, though. Don't get obsessed with one. Don't get into a cult. Keep your feelers, your tentacles, your whatever you call them, out and about all over the place on multiple different levels, okay?